Welcome to Deep River Farm, folks. I appreciate you joining me this evening. I wanted to tell you that you may want to get ready to share this on various platforms. It may get took down for what I'm getting ready to share with you. And I'm going to also be posting this on my Facebook account. If you're not already tied into it, you can go on Facebook to Deep River Farm, and you can see the content that's posted here as well. Anyway, folks, back on January the 18th, 2025, this was 2 days before the inauguration. The big pharmaceutical company, Moderna, received $590 million paid to them to speed up development of the bird flu vaccine. This is on top of $176 million that they had already been given in July of 2020. Now, you know, we've been hearing about this flu that these let's call them airborne fowl. We don't want to mention the terms too much because it'll get pulled down. So let's call them airborne fowl. You know, this has been going on a while, and every time you turn around, you hear about millions of them being done away with. And that's why the prices of the eggs are so expensive, and chicken's going to start climbing and going out the roof as well. So let's do a little bit of study on this. Have you ever heard the term, just follow the money trail? Well, let's follow the science on this one and follow the money of who's involved in it. And then that'll kind of give you the determination of who's going to have a full golden parachute when this thing is gotten to the point where they want it to. So according to the, let's call it Charlie Delta Charlie. We know who that is. You take the first word out of those phonetic alphabet. Charlie Delta Charlie. Think hard on what it says here on the name. And the Centers for Disease Control. Are they controlling it? It's kind of what's in the name there. If you just heard that, how would you feel if you got to thinking about this? It's in the name. What's going on there? Are they telling us ahead of time who's doing what with the Charlie Delta Charlie? They currently say there's 67 cases of this virus in the humans, and 1 has perished. But they're now starting to urge hospitals to begin testing anyone that they might think be infected. Now, deja vu. Hadn't we heard that before? Remember, back in 2020, we heard the same stuff. It didn't matter if you went in with a heart attack, you automatically had the C-19. You could come in with a broken leg and they diagnose you with C-19. So we're starting to hear this again. They're pushing, trying to get this to a point of another scam-demic. Okay, folks? So let's look at this. So I was wondering who had a vax for this. So I just plugged it into Google, and this company come up called Zoetis, Zoetis. And they have developed a vax for dairy cows. Formerly, they were owned by Pfizer, but now owned by Pershing Square Capital Management. And they're based, the Zoetis is based in New Jersey. Now, Pershing Square Capital Management is a hedge fund company. Imagine that. They're a hedge fund company. And folks, follow the money and you'll also find out who has a stake in this. So I got to doing a little research and stumbled upon this other company that's involved in doing some of this research, or not research, but has a Victor Alpha X-ray. We'll go with that. And it's a company called Medgene, and it's based out of South Dakota, and it has entered into an agreement with Elanco for a Victor Alpha X-ray with cattle. Now, licensed through the United States Department of Agriculture license platform, Elanco has a major shareholder. You might be familiar with Bayer. They're another big giant in the industry, pill pushing industry. They happen to be the ones that owns Monsanto, and I've talked a little bit about them, and they're the ones that has seeds that they have developed that will grow in contaminated soil that's contaminated with aluminum. And they're the ones that have developed this because of the chemicals that they're spraying on the sky trails that we've talked about earlier. So I got to looking at this company and seeing who was invested in it, and I run across an insider that was trading. A Mr. Scott Ferguson's listed on the internet, an insider, and he's a hedge fund partner with Sakim Capital Hedge Fund. Well, previously in his bio, he spent 9 years at Pershing Square. That's what got my interest, capital management. And just so happens this hedge fund is involved as well through Zoetis, Zoetis, that we just spoke of at the beginning of the video. So follow the money, folks. That's where the science is. So where did this come from? Where did this stuff come from? That they're claiming it's all in the cattle and the chickens. Well, the year was 2014, folks. In July, the Charlie Delta Charlie accidentally contaminated a vial of relatively mild bird flu virus with the worst one known, the H5N1. It happened in Atlanta, and they shipped it to the USDA lab in southeast Georgia at the Poultry Research there in Athens. And they used it to, they used the contents on some very unlucky chickens. And this, once again, proves the gain of function research is very dangerous. So what happened was it got out of the lab. Don't that sound familiar back to 2020? So on October the 17th, President Obama stopped funding all of the gain of function research in the United States and put a moratorium on it. At this point is when the NIH began moving and hiding money through various agencies, including the USAID that was just dismantled, to continue the research outside of the United States. Prime example, the Wuhan lab, where we know where the C-19 got started and got out of the lab in 2020 over there. So the bird flu is a man-made deal, and if you follow the money, you will find the Victor Alpha X-ray for it, and for those involved that stand to make a pile of money. So it didn't take long to do all this research, folks. Now the USDA states that just a few people in the world are Victor Alpha X-rayed against this. So it's amazing that they have a Victor Alpha X-ray, and they have it at the USDA licensed platform technology through the veterinary biologics that Medgene oversees. You follow me? We talked about Medgene. Now they're tied in with overseeing this stuff for the USDA. And you got all these folks involved. It's in these hedge funds and all that. So now that you see the circle of interest here, it was all available online. And this stuff was, I've got all the links I'm going to put in the description for all this information. And now, folks, do you see what we are up against with this next round of stuff that has been released supposedly accidentally? But and the U.S. government has millions of these Victor Alpha X-rays ready to go, and these companies that are involved in it and invested in these other companies are going to start putting all this stuff in the food system as quick as possible. So I thought I'd let you folks in on what was going on this evening. I appreciate you joining me here on Deep River Farm, and be sure to check out the description below, as you're going to see who all's involved and the links and stuff where this was found. And it's very interesting. So now if you follow this site, you'll find the money and who's going to profit off of it big time when it all shakes down. I appreciate you joining me here today on Deep River Farm. I hope everybody has a blessed evening.